John Vilma, you played for Gregg Williams in New Orleans, famously and somewhat infamously, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is it true? Is what Odell Beckham is saying true?
There is no truth to it. I was with Gregg Williams for 3 years, one of the best defensive coordinators I had, and he teaches physicality. He teaches aggression. And by the way, the hit on Odell Beckham that had him injured was a legal hit. We talk about going low because if a player can't run, he can't score. So when you take those shots, what are considered cheap shots by offensive players sometimes, it's really about going low and taking the legs out. Because to be quite honest, the athlete in this day and age is too big, too fast to sit there as a corner, 5'10", and go up against a 6'2" Julio Jones or an Odell Beckham. You go and take their legs out, and that's not illegal in any way. Now, we do it aggressively, and Gregg Williams teaches to do that aggressively and be aggressive about it, but it's not illegal in any way.
Gregg Williams' name will always be attached to what happened with Bountygate. Many of us will always just immediately think of him when we think of that, so we feel like there's some semblance of truth to what Odell is saying.
And that's right where I was going. It's very convenient for him to put this out here because now he just alerted the NFL. Gregg Williams, I never thought he'd ever coach again. I thought they would have blacklisted him and not let him back. He's on the other sideline. And for him to come out and say this is going to put the NFL's ears up. They're going to address it with the officials before the game. And so now if there's any questionable calls, any targeting stuff, any stuff to the head, they're always now going to err on the side of caution for the offensive guy, maybe even more than they would have before.
No, I agree with that. But we played against Vilma's Saints and Gregg Williams Saints in 2009. That was the sorest I've ever been on a Monday. But nothing was illegal. They just smacked us. It felt like you got hit by a Mack truck. And that's what he wants. If I'm a defensive coordinator, that's what I'm coaching. I don't think anything's illegal.
Well, there's playing to the echo of the whistle and all of that kind of thing.
Right.
The Odell, I understand. Odell, I'm not here to speak for Odell, obviously, but if I were, I think he might say to you, I understand everything you're saying about going low, but that's a preseason game in which the guy got hurt. Is all bets not off in a preseason game?
No, not at all. On the contrary, you're probably playing harder. You have players that are literally
trying to make the roster,
for their jobs and for the roster. And so to say a preseason game you shouldn't go low, that's not the case. Like offensive players, I understand you need your legs and your ankles for your livelihood, but that is not how we're being taught.
What should not be overlooked in this also is that Odell is on the Browns talking about Gregg Williams, who's now with the Jets. But Gregg Williams was the defensive coordinator of the Browns last year.
Right.
So a lot of his current defensive teammates played under Gregg Williams a year ago. So one of two things I could see happening. Either some of them might be put off by him saying this if they like him, or maybe they're the ones who said this to him.
They may be the ones that said this to him. I don't know. But I do know that if they did say it, they should also mention that Gregg Williams preached every time, never hurt the team. So you don't get penalties. You don't get the offsides. You don't get the unsportsmanlike roughing the kicker, unsportsmanlike conduct, targeting. Those are things that hurt the team. That's what he preached as well.
All right, we'll see. So that's a lot of drama and intrigue surrounding a Monday night game that unfortunately will be without one of the star quarterbacks. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.